There you go.
Hi everybody, happy Monday. How are you all? Did you have a lovely weekend? Hope you had a nice Mother's Day. Anybody that was managed to celebrate, if you managed to get to see your kids, or you know, if you managed to have like a FaceTime or anything with them. Yeah, happy Mother's Day everybody for yesterday. Hopefully you're all well and you had a nice weekend. I was very spoiled by my boys. I had lots of flowers, I had a bottle of Baileys, I had some vouchers. Yeah, I was very spoiled. It was very nice. So who's there today? Who's coming online, Josh?
Nobody
said, come in there?
Nobody said hello
No?
just yet.
Oh, sorry, I'm too quick, aren't I?
She just says happy Monday.
Hi, yeah. Sorry, I'm just finishing off a little bit of prep work while I talk to you. So we've got a couple of things that I need to tell you today. Those of you who signed up to our newsletter, that went out yesterday, and you might want to check that out because there is a discount code. Josh, sorry, can you turn that down, please? I forgot to turn it down. There is a discount code on the newsletter for our website. Okay, so you might want to open that up, have a little read, and if there's anything you need, check out the discount code. Okay, so if you have signed up to the newsletter, that went out yesterday. So there's that first of all. Plus there's loads of other information on there as well. It's a nice little read. Sean does a really lovely job of it. So so there's a little bit more information on there about what's happening and what's going on over the next few days and few weeks. What else is on? What else have I got to tell you? Right, so we because we're coming up to our year anniversary of our doing these 1 o'clock, so which is the 23rd of March. We did our first ever one, and it's nearly a year of them. So we are running a special. In fact, I'm going to leave that so I can concentrate on you. Give you all the information correctly. We're going to run a little online competition. There's what we want you to do is send us on Messenger, on Facebook. You know, send us a message with a item that you've made from the 1 o'clocks. It can be anything. It can be a quilt. It could be your isolation quilt if you finished that. It could be one of the Easter baskets. It could be one of Sarah's zippy bags, you know, the pocket to goes. It could be a crochet thing. It could be anything at all. Send us just one, please, just one picture of what you'd like, which item you'd like to enter. Okay. So, you know, the one that you're most pleased with, something you've made and you thought, oh, I like that, send us a picture, okay? We will then put all of those pictures, and you've got until the 17th. I'm going to forget these. Hopefully Sian's watching. She'll be able to do the dates. Yeah, you've got a couple of days to get that into us, okay? Send them by messenger. We're going to put all those photos into a Facebook post, into an album, with a Facebook post, you know, on Facebook, and then you'll be able to go in and see them all. And we'd like you to vote for them because there's 4 prizes. So there's what we're going to call best in show, which Sarah, Sian, and I are going to look through all the pictures and decide, you know, which one we like best. And there's a prize for that one, which I think is £50 prize. There's the people's choice, and what you need to do, like with that one, is you guys need to vote for which item you like the most, okay? And the one that gets the most loves, so you need to not just like it, you need to do a love heart, okay? So the one that gets the most loves will win people's choice, and there's a £100 prize for that one, okay? You can vote more, you can vote for more than one, but I wouldn't vote for all of them because that kind of defeats the object, doesn't it? So, but you could vote for 1 or 2, and then we will go through the album, and the one that's got the most loves will win the people's choice.
Sian says by the end of 16th of March, tomorrow.
By the end of tomorrow. So you need to send your pictures in by the end of tomorrow. Okay, so you've got like 48 hours to send us, just message us your favourite make. Okay. The third prize is anybody that enters will get put into a free prize draw, and we'll pull a name out. Okay, so just by sending us a picture, you'll be put into that prize draw. And then the last one is that everybody who votes will be put into a draw, and then everybody who's gone online and voted and put the little love hearts on, all of them will go into a draw as well. So there's 4 prizes, and it gives you guys a chance to have a look at what everybody's made as well. You know, have a little look and see what everybody's been doing. So have a little root through over the things you've made over the last year, and send us the thing that you love the most. Send us a picture of the thing it might not be the most complicated thing, but something you're happy with, okay? And that will all go into the competition. Hopefully I've explained that all correctly. So you need to get them in by tomorrow, okay, tomorrow night. And then on the 23rd of March, Sarah and I are going to do like a bumper edition of this. We're going to do an extra long joint one of this. And we will announce the winners, okay? So the voting, you have to have voted by the 20th, I think. Sean will probably tell you again in a moment. But you have to have voted by the 20th to give us a chance to go through all the pictures and count up all the votes and everything.
Caroline says she's posted more than one picture. Does that matter? Accidentally.
So if you've because some people have already sent it us. If you've sent us more than one picture, only one picture is going to go into the album. So if you might want to, send us a little message and say, will you enter this one, please? Okay, so only one per entry per person. Okay, so let us know which one you were most happy with, and we'll put that one in. Okay, and then on the 23rd we'll announce everything. Okay. So the 23rd, the bumper edition, there'll be a little demo as ever, but we wanted to do it. We did it ages ago, a question and answer session. Answer all those questions that you guys have that we might not be able to cover in a demo. So message us or email us any of your burning questions. We've already had one from Mary, you sent one in, thank you, about how to finish off your quilting and stuff. So is there a technique you want us to go through? Is there, how to bag out thing? That's been asked quite a few times. Anything at all. Anything about the shop, about white gecko, about quilting, about crochet. Is there a stitch you want me to show you? You think, I don't know how to use a stitch marker. Any questions at all? And it was a really good session that we did last time. Chucking the pens around. And we got through lots and lots of questions and answered lots of people's, somebody asked us last time about how do you quilt as you go. I mean, I showed you that last week, didn't I? But, there's lots, anything you might think that you want us to go through. And it's probably going to be like an hour and a half, 2 hours, that 1 o'clock, because we're going to do lots of questions. And we're going to do the virtual competition and all sorts, okay?
Voting is between the 17th and the 20th. There
you go, 17th and the 20th. Yeah. So the album will go up on the 17th, and then you'll be able to go into the album and vote for your favourites. And then the person with the most votes for that will win the People's Choice Award.
Susan answers, does it have to be finished?
It doesn't have to be finished. No. If you've made a block that you're really, really happy with, your points have gone together nicely, or you love the colours, and you just want to send us a picture of a block, that's fine. Yeah. It's a competition at the end of the day. So put in what you think you'd like to enter. What I think of it as what you're most happy with. You've made something and you think, that's gone that's how I wanted with it. I love the colours, or I love the pattern, like that. Okay.
Christine says, have you done a tutorial on sashing a quilt as you go?
Yeah, we actually did sashing the quilt as you goes last week. I did a real impromptu one. What were we making? The bloom as you go. If you look back on last Tuesday's video, the 1 p.m, I showed you there about how to do the sashing backwards and front on the quilt as you goes.
Says, do you want the question on Messenger?
Yeah, Messenger or email. It's entirely up to you. Just as long as we check both, so you can email it us or you can pop it on Messenger. Whatever questions you've got, just let us know. Okay.
Heather asks, what is the name of the quilt behind you?
This one or this one? This one is the Celtic Twist. This is what I'm taking on to Hachandra on Thursday. This is what we're doing today. Okay, so I'll get to that in a minute.
Karen says, only for UK I take it, the entries.
Yeah, unfortunately it's getting the prize out to you, lovely. That's the problem. We can't ship to the South Africa. But if you'd like to put a picture in, you are more than welcome. You're more than welcome. But unfortunately we can't get the prize to you because you're in South Africa. It'd be very difficult for us to actually get a prize out to you. But you're more than welcome to send us some pictures if you like. So, anything else there?
No, thanks. People saying thank you about.
Brilliant. Okay, so, sorry.
No,
okay. Yeah, so sending your pictures in, okay, and join in, okay, because it could be anything. It could be, you've just learnt to crochet, but you're really, really happy with one of the stitches that you did, or, you might be a really experienced quilter, but actually you really loved your isolation quilt, or something, or you'd never had a go at soft toy making, but you made, what was said, she did a turtle and all sorts, didn't she? She did all sorts of things. Anything at all, but it has to be from one of the 1 o'clocks, okay? It has to be something that we've touched on in the 1 o'clocks, okay? So send in your pictures, and we can have a little like online quilt. We're gonna have a little virtual quilt exhibition or craft exhibition, because it doesn't have to be just quilting. It could be sewing, crochet, etc. Okay, and it'll be nice. It's nice to see what you're making, and nice to get. We might win a prize. You might win a prize. You never know. So, anything else there before we get going?
Nope.
No. Okay. Cool. So I think that was everything. Tell everybody to check the newsletter. Tell them about the virtual competition. Tell them about questions.
Going on Chandler anytime soon?
Going on Chandler on Thursday. Going up Thursday, 5 p.m. and 9 p.m. That's all in the newsletter, you see. They need to read the newsletter. And there's a discount code. So, today we're going to have a little go at a modern hexis, okay, which is what this is here. So, we all do hexes, with our English paper piecing and stuff. I'm sure most of you have all had a little go at it. But I saw this on Pinterest. I saw this way of joining them, and I just really liked it. I really liked how modern it was and how sort of slightly abstract. I love all this quilting that you can see in it. So I had a little play around with it, and I thought we'd go through this today. It's a really quick and easy way of attaching your hexes, but it gives I've chosen, like a grey with all these little rainbow colours, but you could do this in, your florals, you could do it in your Janet Claire's, your calf facets, whatever you like. You could use tiny little scraps up. It doesn't have to be this very sort of clean modern look. If there's nothing stopping you doing this with all different random scraps and stuff. It's just a slightly different effect, and I thought we could go through this today. So I'm going to get this out of the way, Josh. What we're going to do is we're going to start with, so I've used little 1-inch hexes, okay. We very often get them on the front of magazines. If you buy, a magazine, you very often get these paper piecing templates. These are 1-inch ones. You can do this in any size. They can be 2-inch, 3-inch, 5-inch. They could be 10-inch hexes, any size at all. Okay, I just had lots of these, so I thought I'd do something little, and it's easier to show you on little as well. You're going to baste them up just however you decide to baste, whether you like to thread baste or glue baste. Okay, so I've used little 2.5-inch scraps of fabric, and I'm just on the back of the fabric. I'm going to lay my little hexie down. I like to glue baste. I can't be bothered with thread basting. It takes too long for me, and I'm impatient and lazy, and I don't like doing it. So I like glue basting. So I'm going to put a little tiny dab of glue on the paper, and then just pull that over like that. Okay. This is going to come off again in a minute, so you don't need a lot of glue. This is just to hold it in place. So a little dab of glue on that one, like that. A little dab of glue on that one, and just work my way around and baste these hexes. Okay, this glue is brilliant. It's completely washable, just washes out. It's like a temporary adhesive as well. It's not mega sticky. We are going to be using a permanent adhesive in a moment, but excuse me, it's not mega sticky. And that's it. That's literally all that you need to do with these. Just baste up as many as you want, which is what I did here. I basted up loads last night, probably way more than I need. Let me have that yellow one. Way more than I need. But on this little sample, I just used a few. I just used one of each colour. Oh, I've got so many threads everywhere. It's crazy today. I just used one of each colour, but there's nothing stopping you putting a lot more on here. You could cover the whole thing. I just quite like that very minimalist look, just because and I'd only basted up one of each colour, so I just left it at that for my sample piece. However, you want to go ahead at this point and baste up as many as you want, and kind of decide whether you're going to go completely random, whether you're going to go in a colour scheme, how you're going to play around with it. Okay, so leave the papers in at this point. Okay, I'm going to move this out of the way a second. Oh, just drop one on the floor. And everybody with me? Any questions so far, Josh?
No. Everything's...
No?
No questions so far?
Now, I'm going to do this again as another cushion front, but you could make this bigger, smaller. You could do a little tiny little one as like a wall hanging, you know, or entirely up to you what size. You know, if you're using bigger hexes, you could actually do a whole quilt top, you know, have a whole piece of fabric and do much bigger hexes and make it in one. I've just chosen, this is going to end up at 16 inches. So I've cut out a piece of fabric an inch bigger. It's very thread heavy because we're going to be stitching into it. So I've cut it out an inch bigger. So this is a 17-inch backing fabric, a little bit of wadding and a little bit of calico to go on the back. Okay. So first thing we want to do is we want to give ourselves some guidelines, and I want to draw a vertical and horizontal line right down through the centre. So this is, let me just double check, make sure I did that, 17. So half of 17 is 8.5. So 8.5 like that, mark up 8.5 like that, and I'm just using a frixon pen, but whatever marking pen you use is fine. And I'm going to draw myself a line down that way, and then I'm going to do the same this way. So I'll just go, hang on, 8.5 is just there, and do it this way as well, 8.5 and 8.5 like that, so that I've got like a little grid guideline, like, oh, there we go, like that. Okay, so giving myself a little guideline. And then the fun bit is you get to design it. Okay, so you get to decide what order you want your hexes to go in. So I might decide that this one is going to be completely random. Okay, so my first one is going to go, can you see those little points there are lined up along that edge, and make sure that's kind of running down through the centre. So I'm just going to lie these out completely randomly to start with, just to sort of give myself a pattern. Okay, like this. Okay, so I'm just going to lie them out. Oh, I haven't got that one in there. Let's pop a navy one up there. Okay, so you can just, you now decide on what pattern you're going to do, whether you're going to follow a colour scheme, whether you're going to be completely random. Well, I'm trying to be random, but I don't think I actually am being random. I think I've started to group things again.
I think we've gone for a sec.
Oh.
Dan says we've gone. Have we gone for anyone else?
Is everyone else there? Say hello if you are. Okay, so I'm going to keep on, and hopefully anybody else coming through?
Not right now.
Can people please shout and let us know if they're coming through?
It's my Wi-Fi, so maybe it's us for a second.
Yeah. Am I still there for everybody else? Okay. Let me know, please, ladies.
There we go. We should be back now.
We're back now? Fab. Lovely. Okay, so you can see I'm just literally lying these out completely randomly.
Awesome.
Right.
Yeah, we just dipped out for a second.
We dipped out for a second, okie doke. I haven't thought about the colours or anything with this one. Okay, I might need a few more over here, but you can play around with it. You could colour grade it, you know, or if you were doing it's all in blues, you know, you could just lie these out and decide how you want them to go. You want to think about, and this will come into play in a moment when we start gluing it all down, okay, the spacing. But can you see I've got this light horizontal line, and I want the points to be on the lines there, and then these ones, so my lines here, these are kind of sitting in between, like that. And they're about a 1/4 inch away from each other. It doesn't matter too much at this point how they go down, okay? Don't worry too much about the spacing at this point, because we're gonna play around. We've got to take it all off to glue it all down in a second. So all I'm doing is just deciding on how I want mine to go. You see, I don't like those two yellows, they're too close together. Let's have that one up there, that one in there, and the little yellow one down there. Okay, so you can see I've just literally put them on really randomly. It doesn't have to be symmetrical. It could be if you wanted to. You know, you could add these down onto here if you wanted to. Play around with it. Okay, play around with the design. You know, with this one, the little completed one, I kept it very, very, you know, symmetrical, and I kind of went with the colours across the piece. Okay, but there's nothing stopping you being really random. Decide how you want it. Take a picture on your phone. Much easier if you've got a picture to follow later. I'm just going to take these off now, okay? We're actually going to do because I've already prepped these ones, I just wanted to show you the fact that it doesn't have to be very, very rigid. It can be very random and look really, really cool too. So I'm going to take these ones off. And what we're going to do is we're going to take the papers out, okay? So let me grab a couple of these first of all. I'm going to go over to the ironing board, Josh. All right. Now, once you've basted them up, okay, and decided what order you're going to want them in, then I would take the papers out, okay? So give them a good squirt of starch. You want these to be really flat and really crisp. Good squirt of starch, and then nice hot iron, and really, really press them well. Get all those edges as sharp as you can, okay? So by doing that, those edges are lovely, nice and crisp, and the starch will help hold it, okay? Like that. Give them a second to cool down because they do get quite hot. And then we're going to take the papers out. So we're going to take the papers out the back, and it just peels off like this. So just peel that that fabric back, okay, like that. Pull that paper out, and you can reuse that paper again. Okay, so you can reuse that paper again. Because we used the starch and ironed it really, really well, that will pull back into shape. Can you see? You've got this really perfect little hexie. Give that another little press. All we're doing basically is using the paper to create the hexagon shape. Okay, so you've now got a nice little hexagon shape, really, really crisp, no paper inside it, and all that's nice and flat. All right, you would do that with all of your hexes. Take all the paper out. Are you still all with me? Is everybody still there? I'm just going to do it on the last green one that I was doing just at the beginning. Get that one out. Any other questions, comments there?
Nope, everyone's okay.
Everybody with me? Fabulous. Yep. Okay, so you can see it looks a bit of a mess like that, but when you refold it like that, because you've used that starch, you've got those lovely crisp lines, and then you can just refold.
So it says if you use Ashmead
yeah.
products, would you leave it in?
Yes, if I was using the Ashmead hexiforms, I would absolutely leave it in, and actually that would give you a different look as well, which might be nice. It would give you like a real quilted look to this, you know, because each of the hexes would be, you know, have a little quilted feel to it. But yes, if I was using the hexiforms, absolutely I would leave them in. You wouldn't glue base the hexiforms, you would stitch those in. Okay, so there we go. There's my last little one. We're now going to do the same as we did as I did on the little sample. So I'm going to start by popping this one right in the centre. Okay, if you want to, these are inch hexes, and what that means is that it's an inch along that edge there. That's the measurement. It's not across the hexie, it's the side is an inch. So you could, if you really, really wanted to, you could be mega accurate with this. Now I didn't felt it needed it, but you could actually make sure that is exactly like half an inch running down through the centre. But you've got this little guideline with those points there, which is kind of what you want. Okay.
Sean says, if you use heavy interfacing, can you make your own hexes and leave them in? Yes,
you could do. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you could cut your own out of firm interfacing. You could cut rather than paper templates, you could cut hexagons in, and you could leave that in. Absolutely. Yeah. Right, I'm just going to lay this out in the sort of design that I want. Okay.
Lacey says, am I right thinking you could buy paper hexagons ready cut?
Yes, absolutely you can. We do. I think we've got some in the shop actually. I'm just going to get rid of that thread. It's annoying me. You can just see that little thread there. I think we've got some, but a lot of the time you get them on. We all have them on the front of magazines and stuff, and never flipping use them. So what I'm doing now is just want to make sure that these are equally spaced. So it could be that you measure them out and you make sure they're all 1/4 of an inch, or you could use a pen or a pencil and just space that like that. You know, and know that they're exactly, what's the word, spaced exactly right. Okay, so let's have that one down there like that. You know, so I use that pen. There we go. Make sure that those are lined up so it's all nice and neat. And I'm just going to lie these out, and I can't remember which ones I did now. Which way did I go? That one and that one is going to go in there. These ones, that first line there, these are going to sit in to that shape there. Does that make sense? And again, you just want to make sure that they're about the same distance away. If you've got one of those little, you might have one of those little skinny quilters, 1/4 inch. It looks like a straw or something like that, which is an exact 1/4 inch. You could use that. You know, it's like a solid plastic. So that one's going to go in there like that. So I'm just turning them. Now I tended to do it by eye. I couldn't be bothered with all the measuring. I tended to do it by eye, and it worked absolutely fine. So, but you can be accurate if you want with it. Okay, so I'm just making sure that those are, can you see those points are on that line there? Making sure that one's in line as well. Okay, this one's going to come down here like this. And you can kind of see whether they're in line or not, because like this point here should be in line with that one, and that one with that one, and then that one with that one, that one, that one, and you know they're sort of equally spaced. Okay, again, as near as damn it. You know, this is, it's not, you know, if you want something mechanically produced and absolutely dead accurate, then, you know, you can do that buy that from a shop. This is more, you know, what's the word? More creative, and it doesn't matter if they're not slightly, you know, exactly correct. So that one's going to go up there like that, and then that one's going to go, this one will sit along that line again. There we go. And like I was saying, you could add more into this. We're just, because of time element, we're just going to do these few on here, okay? But like we did with all those hexes, you know, before, it could be, you could start with lots and lots of, you know, lots and lots in the centre, and they gradually get, you know, less as they go out. You know, you can play around with this. We now need to just stick these down a little bit. And I really like this hemline fast and tacky glue. It's designed for fabric. It's also got, which is really good, it's got an applicator, like a big thick applicator on there, which you wouldn't want to use on this, but there's one applicator that side, and a little tiny dabby one on there, which is brilliant. So we're going to flip these over, and we're just going to add tiny dots of glue on, like that. Okay, you can see it needs a widgy bit. You don't need much. What is that banging? Okay. Is that the workman outside, maybe? Okay.
Oh, I thought it was Thomas.
And then over you go, line it back up like that, and glue it down. Okay. I would start with like my centre ones and then work out so that you've got that space in again. Okay, so I'm just going to do, again, just a couple little dots. And you're going to have to bear with me while I do this. There we go, like that. I'll stick that one down again, make sure those lines are all lined up. So I'm going to stick these down, okay, quite as quickly as I can. So please talk to me, ladies. What have you been up to? Are there any questions there, Josh?
Karen says making hexes while watching the telly at night, and the next day just do stitching a hut. Nice. I like hexes for like a travel project and stuff. They are really good, and I always love the effects. And when I saw this one, I thought, oh, it's that slightly bit more modern look, isn't it? I found the pattern on a website called Modern Handicraft. It was on Pinterest. There were lots and lots of pictures of them. I did buy the pattern just off the Modern Handicraft website just to see how she was doing it. To be honest, I probably didn't need to buy the pattern, to be honest. It was, when I was doing it, I was like, yeah. I kind of worked that out anyway, but I just wanted to make sure I wasn't doing it wrong. But it's just a nice technique. It's a nice way of using that sort of traditional hexy looking design, but making it really modern. Okay, so you can see just tiny little dabs of glue. Any other questions there? Anybody else got anything to say? Anybody having a chat today? Oh, what's that glue there? What did you all get for Mother's Day? Did you all get to celebrate a little bit? Did people get to see their kids, grandkids and stuff? Or was it FaceTime? Okay. please do talk to me, because it's going to be very dull for you to watch me just add dobs of glue on for a few minutes. But I just need to get these down so that we can stitch into them. Okay. Anybody else there?
No more comments right now.
No more comments. Hopefully the Wi-Fi's working okay. See, that one's...
Don't you just love it? It's so different from normal hexy work.
Yeah, it's just, I just like the fact it was a little bit different, and hexes are always seen as being so traditional, like, like proper patchwork type thing. That I really like the way of taking that traditional image and making it something much more modern. We're nearly there. I've got 3 to go.
Lucinda asks, what's the glue called?
It's the Hemline Fast and Tacky Glue. We've got it on our website. You only need, as you can see, a tiny bit. You don't want to put too much more than that on, because it's just going to seep through and mark your fabric. And all I'm doing is just making sure that it's just enough to hold it in place. It is a permanent adhesive as well, but it's just enough to hold in place. Oh, there's me trying to get rid of a thread. Hold them in place while we're stitching.
Suzelle asks, could you use PVA glue?
You can, but a tiny amount, tiny amount, because it's PVA glue can mark your fabric. It's not really designed for... It will go on fabric, but it will dry shiny. If you get any at all on the front, it will dry shiny. This stuff doesn't dry shiny at all.
Karen says, it's the first time watching after seeing you on Hot Chapter.
Hi, nice. Thank you for joining us. Welcome to our weeny bit of craziness.
Diane says, tulips, vegan pasta donatas. Oh, vegan pasta donatas for Mother's Day from my daughter.
Nice, sounds good. Sounds lovely. Okay, so I've now glued all those down. Okay, what we're going to do now is we're going to stitch directly into them to hold them down permanently. There's lots of different ways you can do this. You can matchstick quilt all the way down, sort of 1/4 of an inch down every single line, sort of do it all vertically and do matchstick quilting and hold that in place. You can just do horizontals and verticals. Okay, so you're going to go down every single one, and I'll show you that in a second. We'll measure it out. You can do horizontal and verticals, or you can do 60-degree lines, which are basically point to point to point to point on it. So we're going to start with that. All right, we're going to start with some point to pointing. I'm going to start in this corner here. So I'm going to use a long ruler, and I'm going to line up my ruler on the corner of this hexie here, the corner of that one there. Can you see? And I'm going to come through this one as well. All right, so I'm going to line it all up like that, nice long ruler, and I'm going to use a frixon pen or whichever marker you want to use and draw a line. Okay, like that. And we're going to do all the 60 degrees one way. So my next one, now if I had a lot more hexes on this, I'd have a lot more, like if we had more, like we had earlier, lots and lots on there, I'd have more to do through, but we're just doing these few for now. So you might be that this one's going to show off lots of quilting rather than, rather than just hexes. Okay, so I'm going to just draw my lines down all the way through like this and through like that one. There we go. Okay, and I go all the way through one way. So there's my next one. You ladies, you all follow me on this. So I'm picking that point there, like that. Okay. Now I don't know if you can see, whether Josh can get this. They're an inch apart basically. This line here that I've drawn through that one. When if I line up on my inch line on my ruler, that actually comes right the way through that point. Okay. So I know I've kind of got my spacing correct as well. I'm going to go through this one like that. So again, I'm lining up my inch line, and it's going to take, I would if I hadn't knocked it. It's going to take me all the way through that one there. Okay, and then through this one, and I'm just going to quickly whip through this one, these ones. Okay, and then next one like this. And again, I'm matching those points, point to point to point like that. Any other questions there, Josh? Just while I'm doing this.
Yeah. Lucinda says you can make a honeycomb and add a few bees.
Yeah, that would be lovely. Oh yeah, you could do it all in yellows and oranges and mustards, and then you could embroider some bees and all in it. What a pretty cushion that would be.
Jennifer asks, is it repositional glue?
This one, yes, within a few minutes, you know, so I could peel that one off. I mean, it started to stick because that was one of the first ones to go in. You know, yes, you can reposition, but only within a few minutes. That's almost permanent now. Okay, so I would lie them all out and then glue them in sort of relatively quickly. And if you want to move anything, I mean, I could peel that right off if I wanted to, but it has kind of held it there. Can you see like that? But it would, if I pulled hard, that would come off if I wanted to. But the idea is it is supposed to be permanent, that one. Okay, so we're going to stitch all those lines first, all right? Now, I'm not going to do all of them, obviously, because we would be here for ages and ages and ages. So I'm just going to do a few for you. I would suggest I'm going to take, sorry, just trying to move all these papers out of the way so I've got a bit of space to work. There we go. So I've put my walking foot on, all right? We're quilting, we're doing long lines, and we want this to be quite neat because the quilting is very obvious on something like this. You know, when you're doing something maybe like this, you know, the quilt behind us, you can, because there's a lot going on and there's not a lot of solid space, as in, you know, blank space, negative space, you can get away with your quilting maybe not being quite so precise. But with something like this, where you've got all that negative space on the cushion front, you want your stitching to be neat. So I would absolutely use my walking foot for this. I'm going to put my stitch up to 3 as well. I don't want it to be really big. A lot of people quilt on 3.5, 4, which is fine. That's absolutely fine. But I actually quite like the smaller stitch on this. I would normally quilt on sort of 3 or 4, but on this, because it's a smaller piece, I can get away with 3 and it'll give me a neater stitch. Okay, so I've chosen a pale grey thread to blend in with the background, but you could do it in a variegated thread. It depends on what look you're looking at, you want. Okay, and I'm just going to follow those friction lines. Okay, so it's going to be a bit noisy because it's a walking foot. I'm just picking one relatively in the middle to start with. Okay, slow your quilting down. Okay, it's a walking foot, not a running foot. Okay, and sometimes with walking feet, it's got a lot going on the foot. You know, it's got to pull through the fabric at the front in line with the ones at the bottom. It is better to go a bit slower, particularly when you're going over the hexes. So I'm getting to that first point of the hexie. I'm just going to slow it right down, making sure I'm going point to point, and again slow it down, go point to point, and then I can whiz up a little bit faster. Thanks, Josh. When I get onto the solid fabric. Okay. You're going to do all of those in one direction. Well, no, that's a lie. You're not going to do all those in one direction. You're going to do all these lines that are all going one way first, and then we're going to do the other. But little tip is, I've come off this end, I want to start this end when I go back the other way. You'll get less dragging in your fabric. Okay, so if you go down one way, back up the other, you'll get less dragging. So I'm going to start at the end that I finished and add a few more in. Okay.
What batting are you using?
Pardon?
What batting are you using?
I've just got an 80-20, but you could use a super soft poly, you could use wool batting, any batting at all. Frankenstein it together. You know, you don't have to worry too much with what batting you use. But I'm using the 80-20. It was a little scrap that I had left. Okay. So I've started this end, so I want to go back down the, I've finished this end, sorry, so I'm going to start this end and go back. Okay, so I'm just going to add a couple more in for you, and then I'm going to show you, we'll cut through the other way. Okay, talk to me please ladies, because otherwise it's just you watching me sew straight lines, which is very dull.
Linda says she needs a blue friction pen. She's got to go over and over hers, so she's probably empty.
Oh yeah, they don't last forever, and if you've used them lots, it's definitely worth getting a new one.
Karen says, when looking at you drawing the lines, I thought it looked like it would be 1 inch apart.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they are. They do work. Oh, my bobbin just ran out. Typical. I thought I'd put a new one in. I obviously hadn't. And I haven't got one ready. So you have to definitely talk to me while I quickly do a bobbin now. Anybody else got any questions or comments there? Can't believe how warm it is in here. Heating's on and it's boiling. There we go. Let's do a quick bobbin.
Oh, apparently we started again. What was the batting again?
The batting. Oh, did we have a glitch again?
Yeah, we started again.
I don't know what's going on with that. With the Wi-Fi today. Sorry, ladies. We've got people working on the phone lines out the front, so it might be that. It's an 80/20 I'm using, but you can use whatever wadding you like. Look. You know, a polyester or wool or anything would work for this. I actually Frankensteined it, zigzagged it together. There we go. Yeah, not sure what's going on with the Wi-Fi. Like I said, the BT OpenReach guys are over on the corner today, so it might be that they're doing a bit of work. And unfortunately, we are slaves to the Wi-Fi, aren't we?
Yeah. I think we're all good again.
Are we going to go again, are we?
No, I think we're good. We're good again.
We're good again, are we? We're back again. Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Lisa says go until I'm off.
Yeah, go out there and say, I'm trying to film. I'm trying to have a chat with people.
Oh, apparently doesn't like you talking about the wadding. I think they missed it again.
Oh, it really does look... How bizarre. So the wadding is an 80/20. And maybe it just doesn't like the word wadding. Maybe that turns the Wi-Fi off. I'm using 80/20, but you can use poly. Okay, any wadding you've got there at all. So, right, sorry ladies, I'm just going to go back and do that little bit line that we missed, that the bobbin ran out. Okay, so just slow it down as you're going over the hexes. Like that. I'm not going to do lots of them, I'm just going to do 2 or 3, which this is the 3rd one, so you can see. Okay.
Sean's put in the comments just in case we do go again.
Sorry, it's so warm in here today. Mind you, I'm in a jumper. All the boys are wandering around in shorts and t-shirts. So, right, we're going to go back over here a second. And then you would just add in more lines. Okay, so you'd go all the way across one way, like that, corner to corner, all that way. And then you would go this way. So, all my papers are on the floor now.
Just chucking things everywhere.
Yeah,
now.
I am just chucking stuff everywhere. Okay, so again, I'd just pick my sort of middle one, go corner to corner, line up that ruler, corner to corner like that. And I'd go this way. So I'm going to sew down like that. Okay, and then this one. And again, it's going to be about 1 inch away. All right, so I won't mark it all up because it's relatively obvious what I'm doing now. Okay, like that. So I would mark it all that way and then all that way, and then I would quilt those lines, and then I could iron off all my lines. You could then, if you wanted to, which is what I did with this one, I did my verticals as well. So I went through the vertical of each one and the horizontal of each one too. Okay, and made, then I've got this lovely sort of quilting happening in the background there, and I don't know if you can see that. So it's ended up sort of with diamonds and then cross-sectioned and everything. Rather than doing the diamond bit, you could just go through the vertical and the horizontal. Or like I was saying, you could go like 1/4 of an inch, or you rather actually would probably work out it's 1/2 inch, wasn't it? So what I'll do is I'll draw it onto here for you. So you could go point to point to point like that, through those points there. Can you see? So it's those points there, like that, and then through the centre, which I've already done, and then through that one there, like that. Okay, and you could do that all the way across. So go through those points, go vertically that way, okay, and then do that way as well, and you'd have this lovely sort of grid pattern on the back of it as well. Let's get rid of that now. And that's really it. How you attach them, as long as you've got enough attached. I mean, you can see that you know these are pretty well attached now. You know, all my raw edges are all tucked under because of the glue and everything, but they're all stitched down nicely. They're not going to fray or pull off. You know, I can really rub that, and it's all nice and attached. And I just thought it would be, you know, it's just a different way of playing around with English paper piecing and those templates that we have. You know, try it with diamond templates. Try it with, you know, different, you know, I've got a box of different templates down there, which have, you know, that I've had free on the front of magazines. So it doesn't have to just be, you know, hexagons. You could play around with your different shapes. Just start with that grid line to add them on and then stitch into them. But, you know, like we were saying earlier, there's nothing stopping you adding. I've only added a few, but you could add loads on, couldn't you? And really give, you know, be really kind of abstract and all with this. I just think it's a nice little technique. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and I like to see what you make. So if you do have a little go, make sure you pop it on the Gigglers page for me so that we can see what you made. I've loved that idea that Cindy came up with you know, doing it all in like honeycombed and then, you know, embroidering some bees and things on. That would be really cute. But yeah, play around with different shapes as well. Try some diamonds, try some circles, you know, have a little play around and see what you can come up with. So any questions or comments there?
A couple more questions. Leslie asked, does the pen you're using iron off well?
Yes. So I don't tend to use them on very dark fabrics. You can't see them, and sometimes you can they leave a shadow. But on fabrics like this, where you can see, there you go. I've ironed that. You know, I can just iron it all off like that. Okay, that's the frixon pens, and it's gone. Okay. Some people hate them, some people won't use them. And if I was marking out, you know, a heritage heirloom quilt, I probably wouldn't use these. But for a cushion front, it's done. It's brilliant. You know, I'd probably use one of the Roxanne chalk pencils if I wanted something, you know, if it was a darker fabric or a really expensive project, just in case anything happened. But touch wood, I've never had a problem with these. I use them all the time. I've been using them for about 5-6 years now, and they work every time. So yeah.
I think the last question is Karen. Could you at some time or other show how to use rulers quilting?
Oh, okay. Once I've learnt it, yeah. It's not something I've ever really played around with. I've got some Pars rulers in the shop, the ones that you use the rulers and you've got a special foot and everything, and it gives you all different shapes. Not something that's my forte, I'm afraid. Not something that I've ever really played with. I will. We're actually going to ask Andy from Craft UK to see if he'd like to do a live with us. And he does rulers for quilting, so maybe I can get him to do the demo for you. See if we can do a shared live and him come on and show you, because he does lots and lots of ruler templates for quilting. So maybe I can get him to do that for you. Okay.
Sweet. Everyone's just saying thank you now.
Fabulous. Okie doke. So yeah, that's it for me today. God, it was a long one actually. So just realised it's 10 to 2. I've got stuff to do. Don't forget to get your entries in for the virtual exhibition competition, and your questions as well. Let us know about those. Check out your newsletters for your discount codes, and then what am I going to do tomorrow? Oh, got a little bit of crochet tomorrow. Got a little bit of crochet, then block of the week on Wednesday, and then says back on Thursday while I'm up at Herchanda. So if there's no other questions, I will love you and leave you, and I'll see you all tomorrow, guys. Bye.